Hello. Well, in this video, I want to share a little bit more of the player stat system that I have for Survival Story. And so as you can see on the left hand, you've got the main player stats kind of vertically. So I'll go ahead and press tab here. All right, so you've got the red, which is the HP, the health. Blue is the thirst. Yellow, brownish is hunger. The white is immunity. Purple is the sanity. And in a minute, I'll go into more in depth of specifically what each of these stats kind of represent. But just also want to point out first the stamina bar, which is across the hot bar up above the top of it. And then the black area is actually the experience bar. It'll turn purple as you accumulate more experience. The right hand is the weight, and that fills up in yellow and progressively turns red as it gets, as your inventory is filled up and gets heavier. On the left side of the hot bar, you can't see it now, but that's the breath bar, and that shows up once you're submerged in water or your breath is being depleted. All right. So now specifically for the health, we'll start off with the health details. The health bar, like most survival games, your health will deplete when you're hit by mobs, or if you consume some item that damages your health in some way. Another way of your health being reduced is, say, if some of the other stats start to get depleted. So if your hunger or your thirst is completely depleted, that starts draining your health. And of course, you've got fall damage. So if you're to fall off from a high place, you'll start losing health as well. So just to demonstrate that really quick, so we'll just lose some health. Boom, and there's a little bit of the health that just got depleted. Now in general, or actually, I'll just show you this tool here. I've got a modify player stats little admin cheat tool that lets me directly modify each of the stats that I need for demo purposes. So all of the stats start off at a value of 100. Now this is an exception to the weight bar and the experience, of course, that starts off at 0. But all the other ones start off at 100, and their current maximum is at 100. So for example, the health is currently at 100. I can kind of instant heal myself if I wanted to. There it goes. And let's say if I were to bring that maximum down to, well, let's just bring it up to 200 first. We'll just do this. So 110, 200. All right, so now it's currently 200 max, and the current health is at 100, so that's why it's only halfway filled up at the moment. And so if I were to use some health-related restore items, for example, like these pain pills, you can see that it's slowly increasing. You'll notice the thirst is also decreasing because I've got the item also reducing some of your thirst when you consume it as far as pain pills. So we have items that can also impact more than one type of a player stat at a time. And I'll demonstrate another one similar, like the apple, that will improve your hunger. That'll give you a little bit more satiation, but also a little bit more thirst. You can kind of barely see it, but you can see the hunger going up there, and things like that. So the point is, we've got items that can also impact more than one stat at a time. Let's see here. All right. So now throughout the game, there are also status effects that occur perpetually. For example, your thirst and your hunger and your sanity is always depleting slightly throughout the day, because naturally you just get hungry and hungrier, more hungry as you even if you're just lying around, as well as your thirst. Sanity represents more of like your sleepiness, how tired you are. So throughout the day, that naturally depletes. And so once that gets to like all the way empty, that's when you need to start going to sleep to restore that. So to demonstrate the kind of the perpetual stat drains that are not dependent by any actions, what I will do, let's say if I reduce the maximum for all these stats just to like a value of 10. So we'll do this. So now we're reducing the health maximum to 10, which also reduces the current health. That's why I'm getting damaged. The thirst is down to 10. Hunger, immunity, and sanity. Okay, great. All right, so now as we stand here, you should be able to better see, for example, the thirst and the hunger stat slowly depleting just from standing idle. See, you can kind of see it blipping down. So that's how that works. It's a lot easier to see when you're when the stat is only 10 points at a time. All right, and so that's another thing too. Throughout the gameplay, the maximum value for these stats can dynamically change. It can increase or decrease based on your skill progression, based on equipment or items that you find and equip, for example. So, and the stat effects, they stack appropriately as well. So for example, we've got looks like the thirst is kind of draining down low. So if I were to simulate, well, I do actually have, I don't have to simulate. Let's create some cups and we'll go have a drink here since that's getting low. All right. So if I were to take one drink, you can see the thirst increasing. And I believe the cup of water provides 10 points of thirst back. But let's say if we want to demonstrate how it stacks, like I had mentioned before, as you consume items, the effects, positive or negative, are delivered in a delayed fashion, so it's not immediate. And because of that, you can actually stack it so that if you consume multiple at a time, you'll see that effect come in a bit quicker. So let's just bring the max back up here for the thirst. We'll bring it back to your normal 100. All right, and let's say, we'll leave it down at this level. All right, so let's say if I were to fill up 3 cups. Okay, and we'll start drinking. There's 1. I have kind of a cooldown system so you can't spam drink. So, and that can be, I plan to detail that later here in another video. But you can see how the thirst is now kind of increasing a lot faster than it normally would if you only had drunk 1 cup at a time. And so, there we go. And that's how those stats work. As a more visible way of kind of demonstrating how things stack up, we'll play with the hunger. So for example, the hunger, let's see what we have it currently maxed at. Let's bring the max to 10. And then we'll mess around with the current state of the hunger. So let's say we wanted to increase hunger by 10, but do it in a gradual way. So let's say increase it by 50. So we'll execute it now, and you can see the hunger just slowly increasing. Let's pretend that we consumed another item while this is still in effect for 50 in a delayed fashion. There's 1, there's another, and there's another. And you can see how now the hunger stat is increasing a lot quicker since we have 4 or 5 of those stat modifications happening at the same time. And of course we can also do, while everything's still jumping around there, we can also say do a delayed. So let's say it's depleting. Something happened during the gameplay where our hunger is just depleting like crazy. Maybe like we're sick or we're infected or we have dysentery or something, and we're just losing all the hunger. So now it's going down really fast. But while it's going down, we also consume something that helps our hunger. So then the drain doesn't happen as fast. So everything stacks good, as it should. Now a little bit more into the immunity. Immunity is tied into your health, and so immunity is depleted whenever, say, you consume food that's not quite healthy. So it kind of represents kind of like your immune system. And when your immunity is depleted, that's when you start, say, coming down to some infections or a cold or a flu, succumbing to some sickness. And so What also depletes your immunity is just simply having your health reduce. So if we were to simulate, say, losing some health, you can see the immunity going down. So let's say we got struck by some mob. Oop, well, that one just killed me. I probably forgot that my my maximum was just 10. Let's take another look here. So let's just make sure our maximum, okay, our maximum is at 100. And let's say we wanted to reduce the current health by 10. Just reduce, there you go. So I'm getting hit, I'm losing 10 HP each, and you can see how the immunity is being reduced. There we go, so reduced. And if we were to heal ourselves, immunity doesn't come back. The only way immunity would restore is by consuming foods that kind of like rich in antioxidants, or that can improve your immunity, or just by sleeping. See, so then as you continue to lose health, you continue to lose immunity, you heal, and again the only way to restore it is by sleeping. Now once your immunity goes too far down, let's just reduce it all the way down. Your health will start depleting. You'll see it start kicking in. See here. There it goes. And the interval, I believe, for immunity is anywhere from 5 to 10 seconds of it being depleted, that it starts, between that interval is how often your HP gets drained. For hunger, if your hunger was depleted, let's deplete your hunger. Let's deplete the hunger here. I believe that's like every 5 seconds your HP is drained. So now we have 2 depletion events. We've got one for immunity and one for hunger that's happening. So you'll see 2 hits happening. There it goes for that interval. And let's just stack up another one for thirst. So we'll reduce that all the way down. And there's going to be, you'll see 3 hits to your health throughout each of those cycles that's happening. Right? So that's how that works. We'll go ahead and say take a drink so we can stop the thirst from depleting. And let's just say we take a bite of let's do a bite of an apple. Now the apple, it gives you a little bit of immunity as well as restoring your hunger. So we'll have both of those negative events canceled now. And there that goes. And let's go ahead and do this. Now the next stat I'll be demonstrating is the stamina. Let me go ahead and restore everything back here. So we'll do the immunity back up. And the health. Alright, so now for the stamina, let's check our max. We're currently, by default, is 100. Okay. So like with many survival games, again, whenever you're running or sprinting, or you're doing some sort of action like a swinging or punching, digging, it depletes your stamina. And once your stamina gets to a certain low point, you become exhausted. So let me go ahead and grab the tool as well. So the amount of stamina that is depleted when you're swinging like your hand or a weapon depends on the weight as well. So a heavy tool that is like a pickaxe will deplete stamina much quicker than, say, just swinging your fists. And everything stacks as well. So like if you were to be sprinting and swinging your empty hand, you'll be losing stamina. You'll lose stamina faster while sprinting and throwing your pickaxe. And same thing as you're jumping. So jumping takes a lot of stamina. And so as you can just see, as you saw just there, once your stamina reaches a certain point below about 25%, you start getting exhausted. So right now you're at that exhaustion state where the screen kind of looks a bit washed out. So what happens is that when you're exhausted, your jumping ability and your movement speed is greatly reduced. I believe it's like half. So you have to just kind of hang tight, relax a bit until you're no longer exhausted. Then you can jump like how you can normally. And so that's how that works. So then sprinting, you've got sprinting that depletes, you've got, you know, digging or swinging your weapon, and then you've got jumping that depletes your stamina. And of course, if we were to demonstrate, say, if you improved your stamina skill throughout the game, let's say we improve our max. So now instead of 100 max stamina, you have 200. So now it takes twice as long for you to get exhausted. See, so that's how that works. All right, so we have our weight bar, our weight little indicator here. So that kind of tracks how much weight we have out of the max that we can carry. So once you hit the max, so in this case, the default is 2,000, you are severely hindered as far as movement, speed, and jumping. And so what I'm going to do, let's get back to my chest. We can start kind of loading ourselves with items just to demonstrate that. Let's see if I remember where I put my chest. I probably forgot where I stuck it. Well, that's fine. We could do this. Currently the weight is at 8.9 units. I'll go ahead and dump this, and we'll just do some simulations with my admin kind of stat manager tool. So for example, we currently don't have any weight penalties. So since, you know, we're not carrying anything, my special stats wand doesn't count towards any weight. So let's use my wand, and we'll simulate the current weight maximum. Let's just change the weight max to 2,000. Let's bring it down to half, say 1,000. Okay, and so we'll simulate, let's say, an inventory weight of, we'll increase it to 100, so 200, 300, 400, 500. So now it's 500. So you can tell now our movement speed is slightly slower. This is our normal walking speed at half of the capacity of our weight, with our max being at 1,000. So if I were to demonstrate being completely encumbered, so let's just keep loading ourselves up here. And there we go. And this is our normal walking speed. And if I were to run, get slightly faster, and this is kind of the jump height. I believe you're still able to jump over 1 block when you're completely encumbered, but it's just barely. So again, we'll bring it back down. Bring it back down to say 1/3, and you can see the walking is a little bit more restored. And we can bring it back to 0. And this is the normal speed. So that's how the weight bar reflects your current, you know, weight of your inventory, and how you can visually see how that's impacting your movement and jumping speed as well. Okay, and so the breath bar, I believe, is the only other thing that I haven't really detailed much here. So let's go take a dip. Let's do this. So there's the breath bar. So by default it's 100 max, and I believe it's 5 units of breath that gets depleted per second. So if I were to hit our little tool here, and let's say we restore our breath, that's how that works. And actually we'll demonstrate how it depletes your health once it gets, you know, to 0. And so I have this set up so it completely bypasses the existing, the vanilla breath system, much like how I had bypassed with the health, bypassed the default health bar too. So, and you can see how the health is slowly depleting. Oh, there we go. Now it's easier to see. Right. And of course we can simulate taking a breath here. So if I were to take a breath, I'll increase it, and you can see that I don't lose health until it depletes again. Any point during the game you can improve your breath ability, maybe by strength training or items, or, you know, some special gum that gives you, you know, extra breath. So for example, increase that max. Now the breath, we'll say the breath is twice as much, and we'll increase it here, and we'll see that the breath takes twice as long to then deplete. Alright. That's how those stats work. The only other item which I just remembered is now the experience bar. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video. It'll take me a second to jump back up on the shore, so let's do that. Alright, I'm back on solid ground, and I found where my pillar was and where my chests were. So, alright, so as far as experience, so again, that bar is down here right below the stamina bar. So whenever we dig, you can kind of see, you know, the little blue, the purple experience progress bar kind of creeping across. So that's how that works. We'll just go ahead and simulate that much better here. So if we were to increase it, so that's how the stamina bar, I mean the experience bar, how that looks. Now I haven't really implemented much past the fact that you do get skill points once you increase in level. So for example, we're at kind of like a level 1 character, no skill points, but I can at least demonstrate once we reach a full experience bar, we'll gain a next level, and we'll at least get, you know, some more skill points. Reach next level, and there it resets to the next level requirements. And so you can see it's level 2, and we've got 1 skill point. And at the very least, what is implemented is that as you gain each level, the requirement to reach the next progressing level requires a little bit more experience. So that's already built in. So if I were to say do 50 each time, now we're at level 3, level 4, level 5, and you can see it takes slightly more, you know, experience to gain each level as we go. And you can see we're at level 12, 11 skill points. All right, now the sanity bar, I haven't really implemented much with that other than the fact that it drains on its own throughout the day to represent your sleepiness. What I do plan on having happen is that once that stat bar starts depleting a little too far down, similar to like the game Don't Starve Together, player starts hallucinating and seeing things, you know, images in the dark or during the day once your sanity gets too severe, and those entities possibly say actually causing harm to you as well. And so it provides some sort of incentive, and similar to the creatures that spawn in Minecraft, you don't sleep, you know, if you go too many days without sleeping, entities kind of spawn in to start attacking you. So you have some incentive to have to go to sleep on a regular basis. So those are my thoughts and my plans for now for that. But you know, as time goes on, I may flesh that out a little bit further. So this pretty much details everything that I have for now as far as the stats that I can think of, that I can kind of remember off the top of my head to talk about. Hope you found this interesting. And yep, still working on the clothing and equipment. I think it'll be about another week, and then I'll be able to show what I've completed on that end. So hope you found this was interesting. And as always, thanks for your support, and thank you.